Ernest. Oh man, I forgot my iPad. Okay, you guys can look at this cool figure while I go grab my iPad really quick from the other room so I can see your guys' comments. How could I forget that? Alright, I got my pad of Ines. So now I can see your guys' comments once I pull this up. What? There it is. All right. So thanks for joining me. I was at Target today looking for a new Robin figure, and while I was there, I saw this Slush head, and I thought, I know I had no inclination of wanting to buy him before. And I thought, what the heck? He does look cool. He's got some good features. So I figured I'll go ahead and get him. So that is why he is sitting here on my desk right now, waiting to be opened. All right, so what was I going to grab behind me? There's something I was thinking about just a second ago. I don't know. I'll remember what it is later. Anyway, so I got my hot water ready so we can have some fun pulling it apart and doing some other stuff and seeing what this figure is all about. Hey, Luis, thanks for joining us. Master Thefar, thanks for being here. And again, Cal, thanks for being here. So let's look at, and I don't have the Slush head from the 1990s. It would have been cool to have. But I do have this one here, the Classics one. And if I remember right, the 80s one had water in his head too. I don't know if it was removable or not, or it was stuck in there the whole time. I would personally like to put his water right at the nose level. So that way then his eyes, I know what I was going to reach for. A light. Now I remember I was going to grab a light so we can see this better. Boop, boop, boop. Where's the switch? There we go. I like to put the water right at nose level so his eyes are not in the water, but his face where he breathes is. So that's always kind of what I tried to do. And then I also made a custom version, which I thought was kind of cool, because this one, it's like he's in the water, kind of a merman for the, slush head environment. Because you think about it, I mean, this is when he's out in our air, but somewhere he can breathe without his apparatus. And so that's what this is when he's back in his home environment. He doesn't need to have his helmet on. And I thought he kind of cool to give him the merman stuff, even though he'd probably have his own, whatever it is. Anyway, so there we go. There is my two Slush head versions. And now let's dive into looking at this new figure. Hey, Charles. Thanks for joining us. Stand, man. Stand. Oh, check us out. Off subject. I got Chun-Li. Chun-Li! Which I cannot wait to open and check out. She looks pretty cool. I'm thinking she's shorter than I thought, but oh well. We'll see how she looks. Anyway, sorry, off topic. Okay, let's look at the back. Whoop! Let's look at the back of this box. We got some cool artwork showing here of him with his weapons and his arms. And it looks like he has 4 arms coming out the back instead of just the 2. Yep, originally just had the 2 coming out the back for the Classics toy. So that's a little bit different. And then we got some kind of weird brain blob thing in the back of his trunk back there. So we'll check that out. And it shows some other figures in the line. The new Merman, the Grizzlor, the Buzz Off Man, and Faker. So that's kind of cool. All right. This side, no art, no directions. I found out to keep the directions on the bottom of the box, so always check that out. And so all we really have is this artwork here, and this artwork here, which is different, which is cool. Because a lot of times, you know what though, it's the same legs. Check it out, he's got one knee going out, one leg coming forward, one leg coming forward, and one going out. You know, it's not exactly the same. This leg is more in on the other picture. It's hard to tell. I could see them using the same, because you know, as you draw, you do it in layers. But this leg's more straight and this one's angled. But I suppose they could straighten it. We got 3 bumps there. Yeah, the bumps are different too. So it is a completely different artwork. Just similar. Okay. Now it's not taped. I was surprised about that just now. So hopefully no one's already bought him and turned him. We shall see. There he is. Mr. Slush Head. Alright. So let's take a look at these optical arms. Let me grab my scissors here. I am tired. We had our youngest granddaughter stay the night last night. She's not quite 3. She's like 2.5, 2 3/4. And she kept waking up through the night. And my wife would get up with her. She was crying. And it's like, oh, she wanted to go home. It was kind of sad. But she'll get used to us more. She comes and stays all the time with us during the day. But last time it was bedtime, she kept saying she wanted to go home. And I felt kind of bad. But she eventually laid down and went to sleep on my wife. Now I thought I had another Slush Head figure that was not complete, that was just leftover parts that I was going to use for a custom. I don't know why they don't make the knees open up all the way. Let me try this again. Maybe it's just, oh, there we go. Okay, good. There was one figure we had, I think it was Clawful, and you couldn't straighten his legs out, which is really weird being they have double jointed knees. You'd think they would have gave it a full range of motion and not stifled it by having it so it couldn't open all the way. All right, so he does have some really cool metal looking parts, which I actually like a lot. I do actually like the armbands better on him than the ones we got with Classics. The Classics ones always bother me the way they look, but these look a whole lot cleaner and a lot better. So that's why I wanted another Classics body, so I could steal all the good stuff off this one and put it on the Classics body, because I do like the chromeness of the armor. I do like how these are made. They're made much better. What I don't like, as you guys know, is the double jointed elbows. They have bothered me since the first figure that we've had that has those, because it's just weird, this area right here. If they could fix that, it wouldn't be so weird. And I also don't like the way the biceps go right up into the shoulder without a cutback. As we've seen before with other figures, they're supposed to cut back and kind of have a hump and go over and back in. So the way the upper arm, this whole piece needs to be redesigned. And I think then the figures would be awesome. But they all have the same problem with MasterVerse. So it's kind of a bummer. Anyway, yeah, he is pretty cool looking. I'm pretty happy. Let's talk about articulation. We got ankle articulation. Don't break on me, dude. Don't do it. Then we have a boot cut. We have double jointer knees, which I don't mind double jointer knees. They're fine. In fact, if you take a look, they didn't mess up this muscle here the same way they did the bicep. And it's the same exact motion in this area. So it's kind of weird they didn't mess that up. But they messed this up here. So, all right. Then he has a swivel up here. Then he has leg movement. Then we have hip movement, or waist movement, I mean. Then we have a crunch. And then we have shoulder, bicep, double jointed elbows, and then wrist movement. All right. His headpiece doesn't turn. I wasn't really expecting it to, so there we go. Well, before we start pulling him apart, let's go ahead and take a look and see how he works. So you put this on. You put this here thing on. It's got to go in deeper than that. Ooh. There we go. You got to jam it way in there. Once you jam it in there, it goes in there. Oop. And it has lots of orifices to put these extra arms in. So you can choose where you want them. Which is kind of weird. You would think that you would have 4 more arms then, if that's the case. Oh, he's got lots of extra hands too. That's cool. All right, so let's pull this back off his armor. This goes on. I got it upside down here. That makes more sense. So you can use either one, and now the armor can hook, or the extra arms can hook on there. So let's see. The original figure, we have this piece right here. Fit on there. There we go. It has articulation point way up where it connects, but none up here. And then this weird piece right here. So these are the original stylistic arms. And again, same kind of deal. But again, no articulation up here. So there you go. There he is as original. Probably similar to the vintage. There we go. All right, let's take that off. Can you use the arms from the classics versions? Well, I was hoping to actually do the opposite. I was hoping to, yeah, I hate to pull these off because I don't want to break them. I know they come off somehow. Yeah, I can't get them off right now. I do have an extra arm. It's not in use, though. Yeah, you can see I've already actually wrenched this one pretty bad trying to get it off in the past. So it's a good thing I wasn't successful. Nope, it's too loose. Too loose. So yeah, don't pull off the arms from the original, from the classics one. You're gonna end up breaking it. You can see it's white right there for me forcing that off in the past. All right, so let's go ahead and take off his armor. Now, in the classics one, something really strange goes on with him with his armor. Is once you get it off, if we get it off, his head is attached to the armor. And there is no peg that goes in here, it's just the hole. And originally, the inside of this is, sorry, it's all wet because I just added more water to his head. Originally, the inside of this, the head was sealed onto the back right there. Well, I took a Dremel tool and cut it in the front and back and made it so his head could turn. Because it really bothered me his head couldn't turn. It still sits in there nice. Granted, you can pull it off now. But at least now it can turn, you can look around. So on the new one, the head doesn't turn. But let's take them off and see what's going on the inside here. Why don't I keep a screwdriver in this room? There we go. And in this one, it's like it's supposed to be. His head stays, wow, that is some wide jowls he has there. And his neck is like super, super long. So obviously they had to make his neck extra long. It looks almost Beastman-like, so that it fits through that helmet. That's funny. Looks great with the helmet on. All right, let's go ahead and see if this fits on him. It looks like it will. Oh yeah, it will fit no problem. That is cool, because I like this. Now it is a little high here, but that's not that big of a deal. So now let's steal his head. Now, even though he's called Slush Head, you can't add water to this. It is not. Now, the green's a little different coloring, but that's not that big of a deal, because once the helmet's on, you will never know. I guess I need some poster tack. Hold on. Let me get some poster tack on this guy. Where is my poster tack? Oh, I found some blue poster tack. Hold on, I see it from here. Whew, it's been sitting out too long. It's not very sticky anymore. Guess I should put a little more in there. I don't want to get it in the holes. I want to fish it out later with the screwdriver, so I'm just sticking it around both sides of his head for now. And let's see if this still fits on. Ugh. Dun da da. Dun da 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 da. Cool, cool, cool. I do like that shiny. It's really cool. Now, of course, his shorts don't match. His legs don't match. So you want to do some definite more changes on him. Try the loincloth off and whatnot. I do like his armbands better on the... Of course, you have to pull his arms off to get his armbands off. So it's funny, on these figures, you can yank the joints off pretty easy to get them off, but on the other figure, not so much. Well, I'll do that later. So I think using those parts will definitely make them look cooler, switching them out. So let's talk about my custom for a second. So you probably noticed he has a head on. He has a head. And I actually did add a peg to there. And I had to add an O-ring and glue it in there on this guy here to make up the head work. So his head is fully removable and insertable. So that is kind of cool how I did that. But let's see if I can stick on a regular head. Let's see if it goes on far enough. Oh, it does. Wow, that looks kind of cool. Kind of creepy. Kind of creepy. I guess it'd be easier to dress him up. I do like that head better, though. It's way more monstrous looking. Cool, cool. There we go. So let's talk about this little unit here. Now I've seen in pictures where they take and put these legs all across the bottom to create some sort of... Oops. That's the wrong legs. I'm not sure why he's transporting a brain. I guess I should have read the back of the box to see his storyline. That is kind of cool. And somehow this brain comes off. Let's see. Well, the whole thing comes off as one big unit. Oop. Okay. Does this one come off? Nope, it is stuck on there. So doesn't work too well in there. So you can stick his head on there, but then you really can't put his helmet back on. So there's some playability, not a ton. Interesting. It's funny, I thought that brain would be solid, but it's hollow. It's kind of weird. Let's see. Careful, the head swapping gimmick was scrapped. Many have broken their MasterVerse Slush head. Trying to. Yep, that's what it seems like. That has not worked the way I thought it would. Oh well. It's just buzz. I could have sworn I had another Slush head body somewhere. I just don't know where I stuck it. Because I'd like to move all the stuff over from one to another. Actually, that head does look cool on him. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, let's put the Slush head back on. Just for kicks, let's see if this head fits on there. Yeah, it looks ridiculous. Because he has no neck, which is why I made his head so short on here. So I figured it's how he would look. Had his helmet on, just his neck going right into his body. He's Slush head. Yeah, the normal face does look goofy. Where did I stick it now? Where's his other head? There it is. Yeah, but this new head looks really cool. But the other one looks like he's like, you know, he's eating just a few too many donuts. This one looks like he's actually fierce. This is when he's still in the slush, and this is when he's come out. Oh, it's a tight fit. I have to heat it up so I don't accidentally break the neck peg. Alright. I do like the feet though. Of course, they're just Skeletor's feet. They look cool and green. And I really like the chrome looking armor. That is pretty cool. I guess I should put my other Slush head back together. He's not quite as cool. So, classics. I guess it's time to break down what I think about these now. Like I do in every video. The classics one, I do like the body better. And the way it looks with the roughness on him and stuff. I like all that. It's really cool. I like the hands they gave him on the classics, but they have lots of hands for him. I like the chromeness of his armor and his pieces. Looks way cool. And I really like the alternate head. I don't like you can't add water to him though. I mean, he's supposed to be slush head. He's not very slushy without the water in there. And then he's just helmet head. So I eventually may take and, like I said, swap over all the parts to a classics figure. Figured out how to get the boots off. Figure out how to get the loincloth off and do a full total swap. Oh, that's right, the head. What I may have to do, I may have to take and just somehow paint a water line in here on the inside, right across, like he's got water going just right there across where his nose is. So it looks like his head is full. But this armor is way better. The way it's connected, it's a much simpler solution just to have those two tabs as opposed to having one small minor tab that holds it together here. It's a much cleaner build. So the new one, I think, is superior for the build of the armor. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this one. I think they were just trying to slap something together to get it done. Let's funny. It's filled up full of steam now from his head being hot. Ugh. I should just heat this up before I break his ankle. So I did not get this figure on sale. He was kind of spendy. I think altogether he was like, what, like 34, some crazy amount. And it's like, ooh. Let's take a look here. Nope, 36 altogether, which is kind of spendy for this figure. I think you could probably buy a classic Slush head for less than that right now. There we go. But he does have a lot of cool features, you guys. Figure of the year contender right here. Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised with him. I think they put a lot of love into him. I think they actually put more love into this than they did on this one. So, good job, Mattel. This is like something from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the brain coming out of it. It's a bummer you can't have the legs on here at the same time. And what is this supposed to be? You know what? That's it. I'm reading the back of the box. I don't know why I didn't read it earlier. Okay. Let's see. Slush Head, the Scaly Space Mutant Enforcer. Whereas his comrades are notorious for their ruthless in combat, the simple Slush Head enters battle with what can only be described as childish glee. Second in command to Flog, the Space Mutant field commander may be simple, but there are few in his universe more dangerous than grotesque swamp water breathing Slush Head. There we go. Not a lot to go on. Still didn't learn about this. Oh, no way. They lined the holes up so you can still stick it in there. Okay, that's pretty cool. Ugh. Good job, Mattel. You know what? I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to put this up higher. Put his... I don't want this one. Actually, I don't like the anchor one. The anchor one's kind of weird. I guess I like this one here, the claw. Simple, classic claw. And I guess out of the choices left, I mean, this is kind of weird. What is this supposed to be? Brass knuckles that are mounted on a thing? It doesn't even move. So I guess I'll pick this one out of the ones that are left. That way you can stab and clutch. All right. Oh yeah, you can tell. Yeah, look, even the gun looks better on the new one. This is way better. I hate how flat this is. It's always bothered me. This one still has some flatness to it, but it does have some roundness to it. Even the gun is better. All right, yep, I'm disappointed in my Classics one now. Have I seen the Turtles of Grayskull? I have. Let's see, Cobweb said I got the helmet off him. Nice. Was it glued on, Cobweb, or how was it attached? So I really don't want to break them. Like Rocky and the Russian from Rocky IV. I will break you. No breaking the new Slush Head. That's a lot of baggage he's carrying on his back. That's So weird. It does like some kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing with the brain in it. I just don't know. That does look better than a backpack. Nope, that does not work. Just by the time you get the things on there, they're so far away, they don't really give you much of an advantage when it's on the unit. Nope. I know it's supposed to go down here on the bottom, but again, it's like before, it doesn't give you a lot of advantage having those little claw things down there. But having them on top kind of gives you more of an advantage. Okay, I think I've had enough fun. Can the arms go to the armor without the backpack? Nope, you gotta have either this backpack or this backpack. There are no spots directly on the armor for the arms to go. Oh, you know what? I take that back. You could probably stick them right in that hole. They're the same size holes. There you go. Much better. That's a way better solution. Who was it that said that? Oh. What is that? Timu? Yep. Thanks for the suggestion. Way better. Of course, I'm sure this is probably supposed to be his breathing apparatus that keeps his slush head full of slushy stuff. Now you can't mount it. Crazy. But it is cool they had those spacings just right on these two packs back and forth with the two holes. Alright, anyway, thanks for joining me. He is cool. I just don't like the double jointed elbows. That's it. That's the only thing that bothers me. Other than that, he's a perfect figure. But again, they all have that same issue. So that is it. Of course, these had issues too. These ones, the arms wouldn't bend very far unless you cut them. So I had to alter mine and cut them so they could bend further up, because originally they didn't bend far enough. So I remember pulling the arms apart and cutting the little pins inside there so it could bend all the way up. It'd stop like right there and freeze. So anyway, I hope to have another video soon. I'm working on a cool custom, and I'm hopefully going to finish today or tomorrow. So we'll check him out and see what he is. And it's going to require me breaking open the torso. So a little bit extra work, and also cleaning off this paint with acetone and then putting on a new red coat of paint over the top of it. So stay tuned for that. I hope to have it soon. So we'll see. And that is it. Let's see. When I think of Masters of the Universe, the first link didn't have any of the heroes. That was aquatic based. So Skeletor had an advantage underwater. Yes. Yep, the heroes didn't have anybody underneath. They created the scuba gear stuff as we saw in 2000X, and we also have it as a toy, but usually show Skeletor doing it. But yeah, as far as good guys, and later on in New Adventures, as you know, we got this guy here, and he gave us the underwater advantage eventually. It's funny, this was the first Fat Armor guy I fixed. I remember I had a bunch of versions of him. This one right here, I actually just cut the armor to make it work. But originally, I was sanding it down. As you can see, originally he had the Fat Armor syndrome, which is okay considering he's a scuba dive guy. You can see it being full of air or oxygen or armor or whatever. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But I had to figure something out. And being the underwater, or the underpiece was the same color as the armor, it didn't take much to... I just took and cut the angles right there and then glued that right on there for the tubes. As you can see, here's the angles right here that I cut on to make it work. And that now makes his arms come nice and down and straight like it should be, as opposed to having Fat Armor syndrome. And also the Fat Armor syndrome causes their bellies to look really weird when they put them out. See on this one here, it's nice and tighter. It doesn't have that same issue. So there we go. That is my Fat Armor story, the first guy I fixed. It's funny, when my kids had this figure a long time ago, they named this guy Steve Fisher. That was his name. So I don't know what his name's supposed to be in New Adventures. I always feel like it's Hydron. Is that his name? But I don't know what his real name is. But in my mind, he's always Steve Fisher. Steve Fisher. Anyway. I don't know if his arms would wind up or something so he could swim. It's kind of a cool toy. Scuba Steve. Yeah. I used to have the original Slush head figure. Nice. But he was in space. Always made me laugh. I can't believe how thin this weapon is. It just drives me crazy. So definitely we're getting an upgrade from this to the new one. The new one's way better. Look at the difference. This has some girth to it finally. Not a ton of girth, but a lot more than this little flat thing. You know what? I think I also changed his head too. I think I was annoyed that his head was so low. That's what it was. See how low his head sits inside his piece here? And so his eyes, it's just weird. And so on this one here, that paint was sticking on there. I actually raised his head up. You can see the difference. So I added some O-rings and lifted his head up a little bit. That way he would line up better with the helmet. Oh, that's right. I had to also sand his little fin to make it fit. Because see, the fin kept hitting the top of the helmet, so I had to sand the fin down too to make it fit. Once I got the fin sanded, then I was able to put his head up higher. Hold your head up, man. And there goes Steve Fisher. It's funny, all the little things you do you forget about. All the minute little details. Let's see. Mr. Hansen says, looks like one of the mutants from the New Adventures of He-Man. Yes, this is. Ta-da! But he's not going to be when I'm done with him. He's going to be something really cool when I'm done with him. Yep, Hydran. I think that's what his name was. It's funny, like I said, I fixed so many of these guys, which was ridiculous. Like the last one I fixed was this one, like actually cutting it. Usually I'd sand the sides down and mess with all the armor. Then one day I'm like, you know what? If I was just to cut one, that might work good. But I sold all the ones I fixed. People kept buying them from me because they didn't like the fat armor. The old fat armor syndrome. So when you got a new engineer at Mattel, we started getting a whole bunch of fat armor in a row. That's one of the coolest new adventures. Oh, I wish this was an articulate and one of those lenses that changes. That'd been cool, but oh well. This figure is pretty cool. Super 7. Super 7. And it's clever too, is they use the elbow joint hole to put an apparatus in there to cover it up. That was pretty clever. You can see the hole on this side. Yep, you can always spot Super 7 because their holes are smaller when they had holes. So it wasn't quite as noticeable. Did I also paint the inside of his arm too? I did. That's right. I forgot about that too. The inside of his arm I painted green. It's supposed to be a blue pin, but it was just driving me crazy having that blue circle. Let me see if my light's dead. Where are my other lights? Hold on a second. Nope. Well, I put my lights somewhere, I don't know where. So I can't show you guys the paint very easily. You can kind of see it though. The green versus the blue. Anyway. Spaceballs, yep. Spaceballs was pretty good. Yeah, Super 7 made some good ones. This was one of the really good ones they made. One of their snake guys was really cool, and then also their mummy horde guy was really cool too. They had some really good ones once in a while. All right, that's it. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. There goes the planet. All right, you guys. Bye now.